Iran sets Israel and U.S. flags ablaze in parliament, diplomacy burns. In a shocking and provocative development, Iran's parliament has reportedly burned the national flags of Israel and the United States during a formal session, escalating diplomatic tensions to new heights. The incendiary act, carried out amid heated debate over foreign policy and national sovereignty, marks one of the most dramatic public displays of hostility toward both nations in recent memory. As global reactions pour in, the implications for regional stability, sanctions, and diplomatic engagement are profound. The incident in Parliament. Earlier today, televised footage and live-streamed video from Tehran's Majlis, Parliament, captured the moment when lawmakers held up large renditions of the Israeli and American flags and set them ablaze using torches. The move followed a heated exchange over a proposed parliamentary resolution condemning foreign interference, particularly in defense and security matters. Members of hardline factions, with chants of "Death to Israel, Death to America," were seen cheering on the symbolic act, while moderates and reformists in the hall protested, some attempting to intervene. Iranian state media later confirmed the burning, describing it as a symbolic flare of resistance against what Tehran views as aggressive foreign policies, sanctions, and military postures by both the U.S. and Israel. According to official statements, the act was timed to coincide with a wider parliamentary agenda, including new legislation to further restrict foreign NGOs, tighten media censorship, and expand oversight of diplomatic missions in Tehran. Symbolism and message. Burning a national flag is among the most provocative acts a country can take in international diplomacy. In Iran's political culture, however, such symbolism has long been a staple of internal messaging aimed at both domestic and external audiences. By burning the flags of Israel and the U.S., the Iranian parliament sought to communicate defiance, resistance, and resolve, asserting that Tehran will not bow to foreign pressure or threats. For the Iranian leadership, this spectacle serves multiple purposes. Domestic rallying, reinforcing narratives of resistance, national sovereignty, and support for the oppressed in Palestine and elsewhere. Psychological signaling, alerting adversaries that Iran is willing to escalate symbolic and rhetorical warfare beyond covert or proxy measures. Diplomatic posturing, for Iran's regional partners and sympathizers, the act positions Tehran as the uncompromising champion of anti-imperialism and resistance politics. Reactions in Tehran. Within Iran's political landscape, reactions have been mixed. Hardliners and revolutionary factions celebrated the event as a bold reminder that Iran remains unafraid in the face of sanctions, threats, and diplomatic isolation. Several MPs posted images and videos on social media with captions like "Flames of Justice" and "No flag is sacred to tyranny." Moderates and reformists expressed concern over the international fallout and backlash. Some criticized Parliament for acting irresponsibly and urged the government to manage diplomatic cost. A few reformist legislators even tried to introduce motions to censure the flag burning but were blocked by parliamentary procedure. President's office has remained muted publicly, though insiders suggest there is internal discussion about damage control. The Iranian executive branch may seek to convey that the act was a parliament initiative, not direct state policy, though such distinctions are often lost in global perception. Global diplomatic backlash. As soon as news of the flag burning spread, global condemnation followed. United States, the U.S. State Department issued a strong condemnation, calling the act a childish display of hostility and urging all nations to diplomatically isolate Tehran until it ceases such provocations. Washington also reaffirmed sanctions and warned that further Iranian actions would draw consequences. Israeli officials denounced the burning as proof that Iran continues to fuel existential threats. The Prime Minister's office said that Iran's violent rhetoric cannot be ignored and that Israel will continue to defend itself and its citizens. European Union and European foreign ministers labeled the act irresponsible and damaging to any prospects for dialogue. The United Nations expressed regret, calling for calm and the resumption of diplomatic engagement rather than further escalation. Several countries with close ties to the US and Israel, e.g., Germany, UK, Australia, issued diplomatic protests, summoning Iranian diplomats to explain the incident. Meanwhile, countries that often critique US policies, such as Turkey, Russia, and certain Arab states, offered more tempered statements, expressing support for Iran's right to protest while discouraging symbolic acts that escalate tensions. Strategic implications. The burning of the Israeli and U.S. flags is unlikely to shift policy on its own, but it does raise several concerning implications. 1. Diplomatic retreat and isolation. Some countries may reconsider ongoing contacts with Tehran or freeze negotiations until Iran exhibits more professional diplomatic comportment. 2. Sanctions intensification. Protests in Congress and European parliaments may lead to further sanctions targeting Iran's parliament, trade, or media sectors. 3. Regional escalation. Iran's gesture may embolden proxy groups or hardline elements in Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, or Gaza, pushing them to act more aggressively, believing Tehran offers symbolic cover. 4. Negotiation leverage and deterrence. Tehran may hope the spectacle acts as a deterrent, signaling that any further attack or pressure will be met with not just military but symbolic retaliation. The future path. Moving forward, attention will shift to several key developments. Official state response, whether president, supreme leader, or foreign ministry frame this as state-sanctioned or a rogue parliamentary act. Diplomatic returns. Will embassies be recalled, nations expel Iranian diplomats, or sanctions be reimposed? Proxy operations. Will militant allied groups be encouraged to act more overtly under Iran's symbolic shield? Dialogue reopening. Whether moderate forces inside and outside Iran push for diplomatic rapprochement with the US and its allies as a counterweight to hardline theatrics. In conclusion, the burning of Israeli and US flags within Iran's parliament is a provocative and high-stakes act that merges symbol with strategy. It conveys defiance, anger, and a readiness to posture beyond back-channel diplomacy. But such gestures are double-edged. They rally supporters but risk international backlash. The world now watches. Will Tehran's act open a new front in rhetorical escalation? Will Israel and its allies respond in kind? Or will cooler heads prevail, channeling response through sanctions and diplomacy instead of military confrontation? One thing is certain: when national symbols burn before cameras, peace gets harder, not easier.